Welcome to L.I.N.K Live. My name is Marina, Editor-in-Chief of Food Logistics and Supply and Demand Chain Executive.
And I'm Brielle Jekyll. I'm the Associate Editor.
And I'm Mackenna Morales, and I am the Assistant Editor.
And today we're talking about robotics' role in space. So 53 years ago today, Neil Armstrong became the first person to step on the moon. And here we are witnessing what we consider the homegrown space race, where billionaires are racing to get into space by using the robotic spacecrafts that they have built and funded. Just yesterday, Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, flew to space via the Blue Origin, which is his first passenger space flight. And I have to add that he was accompanied by Wally Funk. I don't know if anybody is aware of who that is, but she is a pioneering female pilot who yesterday became the oldest person to fly into space at the ripe age of 82. I thought it was just cool because it's a woman and we're kind of, in the throes of announcing winners of our Women in Supply Chain Award. So I was just very excited about that. I thought it was pretty cool. Back to business. Last week, Sir Richard Branson flew to space via the Virgin Galactic's VSS Unity. We have Elon Musk, Tesla's founder, waiting in the wings with SpaceX, which is working closely with NASA. But what do all these space expeditions have in common? Well, they're all using robotics to get to and from space. And it's no surprise that the pandemic fast-tracked the development and implementation of robotics in the supply chain industry. In May, we sat down with Jenny Lyons. She's the Deputy Manager at NASA's Deep Space Logistics Gateway Program at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. And we discussed supply chains in space, and she told us how SpaceX's business model is built on reuse, which is the ability to refly their rockets a number of times. And we think about, robotics and how its automation features are designed to do just that, to help people do their jobs that are repetitive, and to do them over and over in a number of times in a reusing, automated way. And, you think of robotics, I think of the grippers on the assembly line. I think of robotic machines in the distribution center, but now we have robotics playing a very pivotal role in our nation's space expeditions. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. Ladies, you can chime in, but I think robotics definitely has made its mark in things in other planets, and I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. And NASA is, the thing with NASA is that a lot of technology is, kind of comes from NASA and trickles down into everyday life and the supply chains. So right now, NASA is holding what it's called the Space Robotics Challenge. And so it's a virtual competition to advance robotic software and autonomous capabilities for space exploration missions on the surface of extraterrestrial objects. So like distant planets and moons. And so the more we're going to focus on this, the more likely, one, we're going to be able to find some really cool things out about, space and these different planets and different moons that we haven't learned before. That's what this technology is helping us do. But at the same time, we'll probably see the trickle-down effect and see some cool innovations in robotics in the supply chain. So I'm excited to see what's going to come of this.
And I think there's days, I don't know about you guys, but I open up the news and I see all the crazy things going on in the world. And there's days I just wish I could go to space and not come back. So I'm waiting for somebody to let me join them. Mackenna, I know you had some notes on emissions, which I think is cool.
Yeah, so I think I am like one of 3 people who have no desire to go to space at all.
I know.
I just don't want to. But carbon emissions from rockets are small compared to the regular aircraft industry, and this is all sourced from The Guardian and Rolling Stones magazine. But right now I'm reading from The Guardian. And but however, they are increasing at nearly 5.6% a year. And the quote for the person that they talked to said, for one long-haul plane flight, it's 1 to 3 tons of carbon dioxide per passenger. For one rocket launch, it's 200 to 300 tons of carbon dioxide, carrying 4 or so passengers. So close on 2 orders of magnitude more. So it doesn't need to grow that much more to compete with other sources, but while the number of rocket flights is still very small, in the whole of 2020, there were 114 attempted orbital launches in the world, according to NASA. That compares with the airline industry's more than 100,000 flights each day on average.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's not the best for the environment.
Yeah,
No.
that's why it's so exciting to hear about SpaceX trying to reuse some things, because it's not only is it emissions, it's also like, you know, in the past, SpaceX is the first to, you know, really kind of figure out how to reuse these things, but normally it's one and done, which is a huge waste of resources. So while I think space exploration is very cool and it can help us, you know, with not just, you know, business problems on Earth, but it can help us with tons of issues, environmental issues, health issues, so many different things by, you know, space exploration. But like, yeah, there needs to be like a new way of doing things because it can be so detrimental to Earth.
And that is something that The Guardian also talks about in this article. Marina, I'll send you a link so that you can put it in. But they say that all the missions are sent straight into space too. So they stay there for 2 to 3 years compared to when they're on the ground.
Wow.
Oh, wow. And I just think, like, you know, the future of, like, you know, we talk about same day delivery and stuff like that, and there's drones and stuff, but, you know, putting a, you know, a spaceship up in space or a rocket ship up in space kind of brings that to a whole new meaning, because it's like, you know, you touched on it, Brielle, they're you know, better for the environment, but how are there ways that they can utilize these structures to kind of meet these ever-changing demands? I mean, I think the whole idea of the space exploration is fascinating. I think the fact that robotics play such a pivotal role is even more fascinating, because that shows the dynamics of what these machines can do and how they're designed to help people do their jobs better. And I think that that's important. So, and I think it's cool just to watch everybody kind of race to get to space. I don't know. I think, I don't know. Do we think Elon's going to pull it off? He's supposedly waiting in the wings, right?
No, I think they're all working together to take all the rich people when the Earth is dying and move to a different planet.
Oh my God.
I don't know. There's some days I think they can all have them.
It's true.
I don't know. I do think it's interesting that that Bezos, whose company is largely contributing to part of climate change, did
Correct.
this. And I would like to talk to some like environmentalists to know their thoughts on everything, because the last mile is such a huge deal in our industry, and it really is contributing a lot to climate change. So what is this going to be for our future if space is an option?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So anybody who's watching, listening, can provide some environmental strength to the conversation. We're happy to have you on a future Link Live, because I think that's such a cool aspect to look at it. And I think it just changes the dynamic of the supply chain overall. And that was something that Jenny Lyons talked about in our Link Live, was how, you know, space needs supply chains too. They need cargo, they need food, and who knows what they're able to bring back to help our environment improve. So I think that it's a win-win for all. So hopefully we can continue to make it work. Next week, everybody, there will not be a Link Live. I know everybody is so upset about that, but we are so excited because next week marks the first time all three of us will be together in person under the same roof since March of 2020. So we will be enjoying our time together. Yes, we'll be in meetings, but we will be enjoying our time together, and look for some pictures from us. We'll pick it back up again in August, starting Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central, same time, same place, same great supply chain news you can use. Thank you, everybody, for your time today.